Hey, welcome back. So here's the first one. It's a standard unit. It just has 3 attack and 4 defense. So we need 4 attack to defeat him. And here's another standard unit. The only issue with this guy is that's the one that does double damage. So if we don't block him, he's going to do 8 damage to us. So he's a little annoying. This one is the super annoying one. If we don't defeat him in the long range phase, he actually needs 7 damage to be killed instead of 5. And then this is that paralyze ability. That is bad. We have to block this guy. This one attacks twice. So if we add up all of our block points, we're allowed to divide them amongst all the units. However, if he attacks twice, we have to use 2 different sets of cards. So he's going to attack us once with the little fire attack and one with those ice. And I know it's not fire and ice, it's proton and whatever phase-on. But you get the idea. He's got 2 magical attack types, basically. Let's get the real answer. It is photon pulse and photon torpedo. The pulse is the blue one, torpedo is the red one. Okay, so he's a straightforward guy. He is going to do a lot of damage to us, but only 5 damage to defeat him. And then the toughest one amongst the bunch is this guy who has resistances, but it's not against normal attack. He does double damage to us at 6, and this is a photon pulse torpedo, which is like a cold fire. So this guy is super hard to defend against with a block. So obviously he's their toughest one. This guy is the one we absolutely have to take out in the long range phase if we can. Otherwise, we absolutely have to block him. Everybody else, we're going to just have to absorb damage. So let's figure out what to do here. Well, the first and foremost, is we're going to turn both of these over. So I'm going to get a red and a blue and a red and a blue. So 2 reds and 2 blues are coming in. Just for rules purposes, 1 red and blue goes here and 1 red and blue goes here, but I have a feeling we're going to use all of them. So I'm just going to lay it there like so. Let's see if we have any long attack at all, and I don't think we do. We do. We have this one. So I can make them lose resistances and get a long attack of 3. That is not enough to defeat anybody except for the easiest of guys. I don't have any long attack with anybody. So I just don't have the right cards in my hand for that. So we're going to have to absorb practically all of their hits. Now I could take this guy out so we don't absorb his hits, which is going to be 8. My issue with that is I may need the long range attack 3 to finish off these other guys. So here's the other thing. I don't have any types of attack except for normal. So the resistances aren't that important. Taking away their resistances, I mean. Now we do have this one here. Target enemy does not attack this combat and gets -3 defense to a minimum of 1. That is what we're going to do. So we're going to play Sela. She's awesome. Now you're understanding why she's a gold elite. I'm going to use the red die, so make sure that this guy cannot attack. So he won't be doing this to us. And he's going to get a defense of -3. So his defense is only 2. So then we're going to put a red on this guy like this. Okay. So I'm going to put it out here. So I'm going to play a red on that. And I could use the black die to make all enemies lose all resistances. And then a long range attack of 3. I don't need the long range attack of 3. I only need 2, so I'm going to take that black die, put it back. This unit is destroyed with the long range attack of 2 because of this ability. Okay? So we were able to destroy this guy. So he's out. All right. So now we got to do the rest of this. We have a lot to deal with here. I'm going to use Riker. I need a red, and I don't have a red. Dang it. I used up all my reds already. And those were important. I needed to do that. I'm gonna have to just absorb some damage here. So she can absorb 6 damage. See her little armor there? It's 6. And we already used her. So if I don't plan on refreshing her, which I don't, we can have her absorb 6 damage from somebody. And we have a lot of damage to absorb. So so for example, if I don't block this one, it's 12 damage that we're absorbing. So I'm gonna go ahead and let her take a wound, and she'll absorb 6 of the 12. And then we're gonna just take the rest of the damage. So this would be 1, 2, because our armor is 4, okay? So this is gonna cause 1 damage. This is gonna, and remember, you take the damage and then you reduce this by your armor, and if you're at 0 or less, then you don't take any more damage. So that would be 2 damage, and this would be 3, 4 damage. And because this is a 6, this is a 12, we absorb 6 of it with her. It would be 5 damage. And then if you subtract 4, that's still not quite 0, so it'd be 6 damage total. So we're gonna take 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All goes in our hand, and we're not knocked out because remember, our hand size is 7. So we were able to take 6, no problem. Well, it's a problem, but you know what I mean. Okay, so let's keep going. Now let's kill some stuff. We absolutely want to kill this guy first. He needs 9. So there's a purple die out there. I'm gonna take the purple die, put it on this to get an attack of 5. And then we're gonna discard the move card. So that's an attack of 5, put that out there like so. And then we have here an attack or diplomacy, but I'm gonna use this. It lets me use the bottom half of a card and get +2. So I have a blue token here, so we're gonna use that. And the bottom half of the card I'm gonna choose is this one, and I get +2, so that's gonna be a 6 attack. So we're gonna get 6 attack there, so that's 5 plus 6 is 11. So 11, for sure, this is gonna be 9 of it. So I have 2 left over. So I'm gonna turn him over. We just took out a second one. We have 2 left over. So let's see what else we can do. This is an attack of 2, so now we're at 4. We're running out of stuff. This would give us 4 more if I do that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to look at these guys now. So we're at 4. This makes it 7. Attack of 3 for 7. During battle, your captain's defense value is doubled. Once during, so I'm going to do that to make my defense value doubled. So that means 1, 2, 3 of my wounds go away. So now I have 8 armor. So actually only 1 wound would go away under that situation, but that's okay. Attack of 2. So what did I say? I had 2 left over. That became 4. That became 7. That's 9. And then we have this one, which we can use if we need to. So we're at 9. So here's 5 and 4. There's 9 there. So those are defeated. And I need 3 more against this guy. And the Sulu thing, this was actually 8 damage this guy, so the Sulu thing actually helped against that. Okay, I do need to do this, and I need 3 attack. So I'm going to save my blue crystal, I think. Why would I need to save it? What does that do for me? Yeah, it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to play the blue crystal like so and get an attack 4 because I have to. It's the only way I can finish off this last guy because I had 2 left over, 4, 7, 9, and I need 3 more. Yep, I got to do this. So I'm going to do this for 3 more, and that's it. We defeated all of the ships that he had. So now we're going to immediately board his ship and deal with those 2 planet tokens. I'm going to re-roll the die. Just let me get these cards out of the way so we can be... Now, I don't get to draw new cards or anything like that. This is all part of my 1 turn. In fact, it's his turn that we're doing this. But we're choosing to engage him in defense. So basically, we're consuming our turn to do that. But before we do the beam aboard, actually, we don't do the beam aboard yet. So I'm going to get all these experience points. But I don't get it yet. So I'm just going to set those off to the side. So now we're going to deal with these 2 planet tokens. Because that was his level divided by 2. And here you can see I either need this much attack or 8 diplomacy and 9 diplomacy. This is going to be really hard. So Riker has a diplomacy of 4. So we got that. We have a diplomacy of 2 because of this. So that's 6. That's all I have is 6 diplomacy. And we can turn cards sideways or whatever to help. So for example, I can do this to ready a level 1 or 2 crew member, and then I can ready him and then use him immediately for 2 more for 8. So we're up to 8, and I can defeat this guy. Okay. So problem is I cannot defeat this guy. I don't have the 9, and I don't have the 7 attack. All my crew members have been used, and so it is an away mission. So that means that my captain is taking the wound. And I do have a value of 4, but my captain is taking 1 wound. Actually, yeah, he's only damaging me for 3. So I took 1 wound. So my captain's wounded, and that means that I can't use captain skills anymore for the next battle. And the next battle is going to be against him in a future turn, right? I do have this card, which I could have turned sideways or whatever, but that's it. And then, of course, I have a buttload of damage. So we're in a bit of a pickle because of that. But I did defeat this guy, too. So with that being said, I get 4. 9, 18, 20, 25, 28 points of experience. So yes, this game is easier than Mage Knight. 28, 84, 94, 104, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm up to 112, and I leveled up. So I'm going to get one of these abilities, and I want one that lets me heal. These are moves. The moves aren't very helpful at the moment, although the diplomacy one's good. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one, and it goes to the top of my deck. And then this is the skill from the random guy, and that does, if you choose a purple data die to the core, you may reroll it 1 additional time. Okay. Not very helpful. So our 2 that we get to choose are these. So I don't know what either of those do, so let me look them up. Let's start with this one here. I think this one is we get to recruit somebody. Let's find out. Kindred Spirits. Flip this to reduce the diplomacy cost of one crew member in the crew offer by 5 points. So we can recruit somebody for 5 points less. That would have been nice in the beginning of the game. Efficiency. Flip this to reduce the move cost of all spaces you enter this turn by 2 to a minimum of 1. Or we can take one of our old skills that are over there. But I think I'm just going to take that one. It doesn't help me, but those are my choices. So he's down to one guy. And it is now... It's going to be his turn again, unfortunately, because let me see if it uses my turn to defend against him. I think it does, folks. Let me just check. When the Pequod is adjacent to the board cube and is instructed to move, Khan confronts the board cube. If the board cube has not been destroyed, then Khan defeats it, blah, blah, blah. If the board cube has been destroyed by the players, but they are not present on the destroyed board cube, or do not wish to defend it, then Khan searches the debris, blah, blah, blah. If there are one or more ships willing to protect the wreckage of the board cube from the Khan, there is a space battle between the player ships. Players may agree on cooperative defense. If during this combat Khan's fleet survives and loses fewer enemy tokens than there are actual players in the game, he was not fended off and finds the artifact he was seeking, thereby winning the scenario. If Khan's fleet is defeated or loses at least one token per player, it does not matter which players eliminated the tokens. He has to move one space away from the board cube, opposite the direction which he arrived. He ends up a space that is 2 spaces away from the destroyed board cube. On his next turn, he continues the same rules for when the board cube is revealed and is not adjacent to it. So it says that we can choose to do what's called a cooperative defense. Now I just got to figure out, is a cooperative defense... does that mean it's using my turn? So give me one more second. So now I need the full rule book for that, because cooperative defense is... Actually, that's not going to be in the full rule book, because that's a cooperative assault. A cooperative defense, dang it, my apologies. I've never, I played with the expansion tokens, but I never played the expansion, with Khan, so I don't know what a cooperative defense means. And what I'm trying to figure out is, do I get a turn? So what we just read told us that since we defeated more tokens than players, we bounced them back 2 spaces. So now I'm trying to decide, okay, it's my turn. Do I forfeit it because I spent my turn doing a defense of the cube, or do I get to actually take a full turn? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Here it is, cooperative defense. I'll just read it to you. My apologies. The camera's a little annoying. In the Return of Khan scenario, Khan can attack player ships when they are gathered together at a destroyed board cube space. Even though the battles do not normally take place there, players can take advantage of this and agree on a cooperative defense. They agree how to distribute the enemies. Usually they just have to agree how to defend. Then there's a distribution of enemies. As with usual defense, a player has to choose to take their turn in advance to attend the combat fully, in which case we flip the round order token face down or not. If the player's token is already face down, or if the player has no non-damage cards in their hand, then you cannot attend it fully. It goes exactly the way for combat assault. Okay, so I lose my turn. That's, in order to attend it fully like I did, I lose my turn. So, but I do draw back up to my hand size, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then I'm just drawing one more for 7. That's all I have. Okay. This is the diplomacy one, which seems great, but I don't have any red tokens. That's the only problem there. All right, so I lose my turn. It's his turn. He's going to re-roll a gold, which is out there, and then he's going to move 1 space. So he's moving in 1 space. I will get a turn now, and I got a white, which is perfect. So I want this for the diplomacy 4. So I have a diplomacy 4. Okay, I'm going to use the Class M planet to heal my captain so I can get this back. It would be nice if I can maybe remove some of these, but the captain is killing me. So the problem is the captain only has 1 damage, so that's only 2 of my 4 diplomacy points. So then I can use the other 2 to remove one to repair. So being next to that Class M planet is huge. So I was able to use 4 diplomacy and I think that's pretty good. So I roll blue. This card goes away. Now I get to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, hold on. I get +2 hand size because of the board cube. So I would have had 2 more cards in my hand. So let's see. Oh, I drew one of these. I am going to turn both of these sideways to heal 1 more, or repair 1 more. So let's do that, and then get rid of those cards. And so now I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then because of the board cube, I can go to 8, 9. So let's see what we have. And of course I draw another one. I have a diplomacy. The seasoned away team is awesome, but I don't have anybody. Okay, so let's see what he does on his turn, and we're going to get another battle. So it's the pet one. He's definitely moving onto the board cube. So I don't want to let him destroy it. But at the same time, I don't have, maybe I do have what it takes to defeat him. So we're going to board him again, because he doesn't have a fleet, so he can't attack us that way. So we're going to have to take on this. Otherwise, he's going to, destroy the board cube. And I got to destroy as many tokens as there are players. So I have to defeat him or I lose the game, according to the rules. So all my guys are used up. Can't do anything about that. I get +2 diplomacy because of this. Okay? So, and that's why I healed the captain first. So I have that +2 diplomacy. These are my dice that are available. They're not very good. I do have 1 gold here. So I can start it in a play in which all participating crew members have their diplomacy and attack values increased by 3. That's great, but they're all gone. So all I have is the ability to turn sideways. 1, 2, 3, diplomacy. 4, 5, and then I need a red. That's my issue. I don't have a red. That's my issue. I need a red. Otherwise, that's a diplomacy of 2. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see here I need a diplomacy of 9 to defeat him. I, of course, could have had that diplomacy of 9 if any of these guys were available. Well, most of them. This seasoned away team would have been amazing. It's not amazing at the moment. I mean, it's perfect. Starting away, all participating crew members have their diplomacy and attack values increased by 3. I don't think that means that the captain has his diplomacy increased by 3. Because the captain, as you can see, is not an actual crew member. These are the cards that are in my hand. So I would need a red. And in order to get a red crystal, let me think about this. I would need to take that purple up there and roll a red. Oh my gosh, this is so stressful. I rolled a white. Oh my gosh, you saw that. It was on camera. All right, we did it. So I rolled a white. Talk about a horseshoe growing out of my you-know-what. So I get a diplomacy 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I only needed a 9 to defeat him. Boom, he's done. I get 8 or 6 experience points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Khan has been subjugated. We win the mission. Okay, so one thing that I did wrong in Mage Knight is apparently you get achievements, even in solo and co-op scenarios. So I forgot to count these towards my score. The greatest knowledge, greatest leadership, things like that. You don't get to take points for having the most of something, but you do get to do this. So you get 2 points for every one of these cards you have in your hand, and then 1 point for every advanced card, and then 1 point for every 2 something. I don't know what that is. So let's get out the rule book and make sure we do the something, because we're not like illiterate congresswomen who say the word something. Okay. Each player scores 2 points for each undiscovered card in their deck, and 1 point for each advanced action in their deck, and 1 experience point for every 2 data crystals in their inventory. The player who scores the most gains 3 bonus. So that's where the most thing comes in, and we don't get to do that for solo. In playing solo, award the following bonus points in addition to the achievement bonuses, and remember that titles are not awarded. So yeah, we don't get the plus 3 points for having the most, because that's the title. So we got to take our deck, and remember I had 1 extra diplomacy point, so I can make sure I gain a gold data crystal in my inventory, because that's obviously going to matter for this scoring. So let's take my deck and figure out what I have here. So I'm going to zoom out a little. So I'm going to just start sorting, and that's an advanced action card. This is actually going to help me clean up the game anyways at the end. So this is all good. Just grabbing all my cards here. Most of them, of course, are my starter cards. And then that's the interactive. Two, three. Okay, that's everything. So I get 2 points for each of these. 2, 4, 6. I get 1 point for each of these. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I get 1 point for having 2 of these. 11. So I'm at 118. So it's 10, that's 11. So I'm at 120, 129. All right, so that was the first objective. And then, yeah, and now you can put the cards away, right? Because this is helping you clean up the game. So well done on that. Greatest leadership is the next one. And so let me look at this. You get experience points equal to the total ranks of all crew members. Wounded crew members are only ranked half. So experience points equal to the ranks wounded are only half. So this is a rank 1, 1 point, 2 points for 3, 2 points for 5, This is half rounded down, so that would be 1 for 6, and then 2 points for 8. So I get 8 more. So 9 and 8 put me to 17. The next one, Greatest Conqueror. 2 experience points for each faction token you have on a Class L, Class K, or H planet. So 2 each. So this one, 2, 4, 6, 8. I got 8 points from that. So 7 and 8, 25. Okay, and then the last one is the Greatest Disaster. Oh, what's that one? You lose 2 for each damage card in your deck, and also lose 2 if your captain is wounded. Good thing we healed the captain. So we lose 2 for each damage card that was in our deck. Ugh. I'm assuming that my hand doesn't count, or maybe it does. That's the part that's hard. Let's look at the picture. All right, so I had, I put the damage cards away already. I think I had 5 damage cards. I for sure had 4, but I think I had 1 more that was in the deck. So I'm going to say I had 5 and take 10 points away. So we'll go down to 15. And we're not done. So now we go to this, which is familiar if you watch my Mage Knight playthrough. We get plus 10 per destroyed board cube. So we get 10 more. We're up to 25. Plus 15 if all of them were destroyed, and they were. So now we're at 35, 40. Plus 10 if each player had the most. We don't get to count that in... Well, yeah, we do. Hold on, I don't think we do. It's not awarded during the solo conquest scenario. I'm going to assume it's not awarded for this either. Plus 30 for every unplayed round, which are 2 rounds. So that's 60 points. Holy buckets. 40, 50, 60, 70 puts us down to there. And then plus 1, oh, there's no dummy deck. Actually, let's look at our scenario. Maybe the scenario tells you how you score. I may be getting premature there with my scoring. Yeah, here you go. If you defeat Khan, you gain a bonus of 30, 40, or 50 points depending on your chosen combat level. Increase the bonus by 2 for each card left in the Khan's action deck, which, by the way, was only 2 cards. Then multiply the result by 1, 1.5, or 2, depending on the chosen race level. So I'm going to back up here. It says score the best player in all categories. Assign no titles. So we did that part right. Score 20 points if you destroyed the board cube. So we're going to back up a little bit here. We got to take the 25 points off for this, and then the 30 for each unplayed round. So we got to take all that off. So the 30 for each unplayed round was 60 points. I did that wrong. So that was 30. I only added 30 once. And then 40, we're going to take away 15, and then we're going to take away 10. That puts us back to 15. So that's after we did the achievements. We don't do this. There's a different scoring in the... Okay. We defeated Khan. We did it on the lowest wimpy level, so we're going to get 30 points. If we would have did it on the best level, that would have been 50. We increased the bonus by 2 for each card left in the deck. There's only 2 cards left in the deck, so that's going to be 4 points. Increased the bonus by 10 if we played with challenge cards. We did not. An additional 10 if we did nightmare cards. We did not. Then multiply by 1, 1.5, or 2, depending on the race level. The race level was a 1, so we're just going to get 34 points. So I'm going to add 34 points to this. So 15, 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm at 49 plus 120. You know, that's what, 169 points. I've never played this scenario before, so I don't know if that's a good score or not. I'm going to assume it's not a good score because I went with the wimpy levels on all 3 categories. But if you went wimpy level on all 3 categories, 169 for a score seems pretty good to me. I think we did amazing. The one thing that hurts is we didn't get extra points for having 2 phases left over. To have 2 full rounds left over was quite impressive. If we would have played Conquest mode, I definitely don't think we would have had that because you would have had to we would have only had to conquer 2 board cubes in a solo conquest. So, you know what makes this game a little easier is you don't actually have to move on to the location. You just have to be next to the planet to assault it. And that makes it a little easier. The other thing that makes it easier is you can conquer them with diplomacy points. Obviously, very nice. As you know, I love my Picard. That's like the best skill for him. And it helped us in so many ways. The next thing about it is I think because they got rid of artifact cards, they made those cards more powerful. And gosh darn it, they are more powerful. So those are all nice. There you have it. I think that was a good game. The first round I know was a little wonky because I got some rules wrong. But I hope you can appreciate the game for what it is and at least be able to pick up the rules. And maybe I'll even get another one of these in. I enjoy this game more than Mage Knight. I know I get confused with the symbols and all that stuff. More on this one. Some of the artwork is really dark. Like you're looking at a symbol, but it's very dark on the card. Those kind of things I have a gripe with. But I like it more than Mage Knight because I don't have to worry about day and night. There's just so many things like that. You can do partial blocking. Like we actually took advantage of that in that final battle. The con battles are amazingly hard. The fact that we went wimpy level is the only reason why we survived as much as we did. And even at the wimpy level, I used all my guys and still couldn't defeat everybody. So that part, I think, is quite a challenge. I mean, it's one thing to have a powerful Mage Knight with powerful cards. I still don't know how you take down these Mega Knots. And then, of course, after the battle happened, I'm recovering from it. I have all these wounded characters. I have damage cards. I have all these problems, right? And then he's coming in 2 turns later and attacking again. So if it wasn't for that Class M planet next to me, I don't know if I would have won. So good question. Let's look at the board cubes and see if they all have Class M planets next to them. This one does not. So I would not have that advantage with him. This one does not. Actually, I had the only board cube that actually had a Class M planet next to them. So the repair and all that stuff that I got to squeeze in would not have happened. Now, what I would have done is I would have done like a rest, which would have, it's called an emergency repair or whatever. So I could discard all the wound cards from my hand, but then my captain would have still been wounded and stuff like that. But anyways, there you have it. This is Star Trek Frontiers, Mage Knight in space, basically. Andrew Parks, I think, did a great job of converting this to Star Trek theme. I think it's fun. I like playing this one with multiple players more for that reason. And I agree, though, with the critics. This is an easier to play game. It's a little more light. From the perspective of, you saw that we leveled up way more than I did in Mage Knight. And I'm okay with that. So to me, it's about fun. It's not about how hard it is. And I have fun playing this one. Okay, thanks for watching. Stay awesome and stay safe, stay healthy.